This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by trainer Dave Coldwell out here in San Francisco. Dave, it's getting a little bit late here. I think we're both maybe struggling a little bit with a jet lag, even though you've been here a bit longer than me. I might be, yeah. Well, how are you? How are you finding your time out here in the States?
You know what? Really good, really good. We've had a great week out in Vegas. Ebanie's been preparing really well. She had a couple of really good spots to finish off camp. Stephen Cairns had some great experience sparring world champions, top quality contenders over at Salas's gym. Yeah, that's been his base over at Salas's Boxing Academy, which has been such a good vibe, such a good, good people. So we've had a really good time. It's my new favourite place in America. It was, I've always been to LA for sparring, but Vegas is so much better.
Do you want to give a shout out to Ismail Salas? Obviously, everybody at the gym are fantastic. Before we come on to obviously the reason why you're out here, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back a week. Not even a week, maybe what is it now? It's Tuesday, so go back 3 days. This past weekend, somebody who you know very well, somebody I'm sure brought a big smile to your face, Jordan Gill, produced an unbelievable performance to stop Michael Conlan. I just wanted to get your thoughts and reflections on that, because I imagine you were the most happy man in America watching that fight.
Yeah, me and Steve, listen, Stevens looked up to Jordan and trained alongside him as well. We watched it, and do you know what? I can't explain to you how proud I am and how happy I am for him. And his dad, they're beautiful people, the whole family are really good people. I always said it's Jordan's mentality. If he believes in himself, I've always said, to Eddie, to everybody, the kid's got so much ability. He's got so much ability, so much talent, and he does punch. But at super featherweight, it's so much suited to him. But the key for me was how does he look when he's walking out to the ring? Because sometimes when the pressure has been on him in the past, you can see it on him. He climbs up and he rushes to the ring. And then when he was walking out, it showed him backstage as he's walking through the corridor. I said to Stephen, I said, look at his face. I said, he's up for this. But the key was when he walked onto that stage and he just walked around, soaked it around, I knew then he was switched on and he didn't give a fuck. And that is when Jordan's at his best. He genuinely didn't give a fuck, and to see him go out there and to boss it, honestly, it was just brilliant, amazing. And I mean, just from the first round, we were screaming from the first round, and there was no moment in that fight where you thought, or I thought, that Conlan was going to turn it around and everything. Jordan was composed all the way through, picked his attacks really well, and did a fantastic job. Brilliant. I'm so proud of him.
Obviously a few things around it I just want to get your thoughts on, but sticking with the fight itself, it's arguably probably the best performance we've seen of Jordan in his career, and it's a very different style to what we'd been used to seeing from him, and not one which I think anybody expected to see in terms of how he approached the fight. What did you make of him being not necessarily aggressive, but a bit more on the front foot, a bit more trying to push Michael back?
It was just more confident and stronger. It's not. I've seen him box with his hands up and stand in range in sparring. He can do it all. He's an outstanding talent. He's by far one of the best fighters I've ever worked with, talent-wise. It's just when he believes it, and he's in an environment. He's turned his life around. He's in an environment where he's comfortable and where he's bouncing off. He's got Leigh Wood in there. He loves Leigh to bits. Obviously great coaches in Ben and Barry. Leigh Wiley. And it's a good fit for him. And he's gone out there and he's comfortable, and he's just gone, fuck it, I'm gonna smash you to bits, and that's what he did.
I don't know whether you stuck around to watch his post-fight interview. I imagine you might have done. Obviously, he revealed a lot of what he's had going on in his personal life. When you guys split, and I asked you about kind of you guys parting ways, you mentioned he's had a lot going on, and one of the reasons he wanted to move back down south was to be closer to his family. Did you know to the extent as to how much Jordan had going on when he revealed that in the interview?
No, I didn't know that bit.
How difficult was it to hear what he had to say there?
I'll be honest with you, I'm devastated. He's somebody that I've seen as my family, and my little boy looks up to him. He's been really good with my little boy, and I've been around him all the time, and I didn't know, and I feel like I'm sorry. Yeah. I feel like I should have seen something. Somebody found him and stopped him from doing it. And if they didn't, I'm part of the reason why they did it. You hear about people all the time where people say, oh, you had no clue and everything like that, but I've never been that close to somebody. And it makes you question yourself. I'm sorry.
No need to apologise.
It's just the thought that when he said that he was doing it and somebody else found him, somebody stopped him. If somebody hadn't stopped him, then one of the best people I've ever met in my life, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, is gone. And I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, I knew that he was having problems. I knew that there was stuff going on, like he's mentioned about his wife. I knew that. And that's why when he said to me that, you know, he's got to go back home and you know, his family comes first, I get that. No, there was no like, oh, like, do you want to try it? There was none of that. With Jordan, it's more than boxing. You know, like I said, my little boy, he's such a great role model for my little boy. I can't explain to you. You know, my whole family love him to bits. Oh, fucking stay at me. My whole family love him to bits. You know, his dad, when we were out in LA training camp, his dad's like my little boy's granddad. You know, that's what they are. When I said to you, they're beautiful people, they are genuinely beautiful people. So, for that, to think that, I've always said, because I've had people I know that have committed suicide, but to think that somebody that I know this well, that I'm that close to, felt as though like there's nothing else to be done. There's nothing else they can do to walk off into a field. The fucker don't even drink. He doesn't even drink. He's never had a drink on his stag do, wedding, everything. He doesn't even drink. For him to even go to that depth and to take a bottle and to go and end it all. Fucking hell. It's just, I don't know, it's just, when he spoke them words, 1 minute I'm so overjoyed and I'm so happy for him, so excited for him, and then the next minute you hear that and it's like, oh my God. And sorry, but this has been. But obviously I've not been home. I've not been with my family. I've not spoke to anybody about it, and it's just like, blah. Yeah, but thank God. Thank God, whoever that was that found him, that was his little angel.
100%. Obviously, it's good to see Jordan back on Saturday, and to hopefully he's past that part in his life and those demons.
Hopefully now. Eddie's true to his word and gets him a world title shot, gets him that opportunity, because he deserves it, and not just because of that, but because, you know, he's been through hard times in the sport. This is the thing about boxing. Boxing's shit. It is. It's horrible because you can be seen as the next big thing. Everyone's all over you, and then you have a loss, and it takes you 2 years to come back. You climb it again, and then you have a loss, and then nobody cares about you, and then you're on outside looking in. Now he's back in there, and hopefully now he gets life-changing money, and it fulfills his dreams, and that's what I want from him.
Something we can go on to now, Dave, and looking towards the future for Jordan. How do you think he can fare now against some of the best in the division on the back of such a standout performance against Conlan?
It's a shame that Shaki Foster's signed with Top Rank, because that's the one. That's the one.
Still got Joe Cordina with Matchroom.
Yeah, he's got Cordina. I don't know what situation where Leigh Wood's going to go, because obviously that'll be a roadblock for him.
I think from what Leigh was saying, the Warrington fight leads away for him.
Right. Okay. Well, that might open up Cordina then for Jordan. It's great. That'd be a great fight for him. And it's a fight that I know that he's always fancied. Joe's a lovely kid and a great talent, but it's business, and Jordan's always fancied that sort of fight. So maybe that's the avenue. I don't know. As long as he gets a crack, and as long as he makes shitloads of money, and is set up for life, I'm not bothered.
What's it been like to see the rise of Leigh, and now obviously what could be the rise of Jordan on the back of Saturday? You know, two guys who you've worked with closely throughout their careers, but particularly Jordan at this stage. You know, what's it been like to watch the pair of them?
It's great. I'm dead proud. Listen, you don't have to be with people from start to finish. You just have to help them along the way the best you can. You know, it's like when you have kids, you have a role responsibility to bring them through, and then when they become adults, they make their own decisions, they do their own things, and then you die, they carry on, and but you still played a part in how they are and what they've achieved. My job's not, my life isn't dependent on whether whether people see me as a good coach, bad coach, whatever. Boxing don't define what I am. My family defines what I am. But what boxing does is it allows me to work with people that give 100%, have got a dream, and I will do my best to help them. And if I can help them in any way towards getting to where they want to be, I've done what I want to do. I've done my job. So, Leigh Wood, he came to me, asked for me help. Nothing were happening with his career. He got Commonwealth, British, world titles with me as his manager. Happy days. I'm always going to be grateful for him that he trusted me with his career. Always be grateful, because I've got great memories of having great success with him, and he's gone on to bigger and better things. Over the moon for him, because he was another one that he had nothing, and his life's changed. And now, for the big part of his life now, because when you're in your 30s, you've still got a long way ahead of you. Now, for the big part of his life, he's comfortable, he's set, he's secure. His kids are going to be secure. He can go and have a great life with or without boxing. And now, same with Jordan. 6 years I've worked with him, and we've had some great nights. We've won, a couple of international titles. We've won Commonwealth title, European titles. And now he can go on to bigger things. I'd love him to win world titles. All I want him to do is I want him to get out of the game where he's secure and where he's happy. He's set himself up with his foundation. So he's got that going on. I've just seen the gym. Unfortunately, I can't get at launch because I'm out here. I think it's the day before Ebanie's fight. So the new gym, it looks amazing. It looks fantastic. I'm dead proud of him. I think that's all you can hope for, is that people that you've worked with go on to do bigger and better things. And speaking of which, I've got to say, Bellew in the jungle is smashing it. So I'm very, very proud of him as well.
I'll come on to Tony shortly.
But yeah, that's what you want to see. So I'm happy for the pair of them.
Just to stick with you with the fighting sides of things, Dave, before we do come on to Mr. Tony Bellew, obviously the reason that we've bumped into each other here in sunny San Francisco is Ebanie Bridges returns on Saturday night, originally scheduled to face Avram Mafi. That fight no longer taking place now. Just walk me through the period between Avril pulling out, trying to get a new opponent in, and how things are looking ahead Saturday?
It's been an headache. I mean, it's frustrating because I don't manage Ebanie, so I'm just a trainer. And what I find frustrating as just a trainer is that you don't know what's going off. You just keep getting these names. Yep. I think it's about 4th or 5th opponent this, and so when Matthew pulled out, there was a Mexican or setting who was a mandatory, and I says, "Oh, do the mandatory. Let's get the mandatory." Ebanie was like, "Yep, let's get it." Good fighter. I think Leigh and managers there, and they was like, "Yep." So they accepted it. This is what we're being told. They accepted it, and then I think it went to supposed to be contracts, and then she got made. I think she got a shot at Dina Thorsland, or she's got a shot somewhere else with another champion. Yeah, must be Thorsland. So then that was done. So then it's right. Needs to look for somebody else because now Ebanie's got a red on the mandatory. Then it's somebody else. So when we get somebody else, they've said yes. Then they've gone quiet. So it's like now it's like you're waiting again. You're getting closer, and now we've got this one, Yoshida, former world champion. Good fighter, and it's like I said, it's the stop-start, change your opponents, things like that. But it's like what I said to Ebanie: you've just got to concentrate on what you're doing. Just focus on what you're doing and do what you do. And we can't control what's happening. I know she gets the flack and people want to make out as though it is her fault, but it's not. If an opponent falls out, then what are you going to do? Just say, "Oh well, okay, I'm not going to fight then." No. So you take what you can get, and yeah, that's where we're at.
It's your first fight together with Ebanie. With that in mind, what does she show on Saturday that you've been working on together, and also what does Yoshida bring to the fight?
Yoshida's, I think, is going to be very stubborn and very methodical and very, very determined in what she is. I think she's going to be tough as well. I mean, Ebanie can punch. She can punch, but trying to put a bit of smarts in her as well. Not waste as much as many punches as what she normally does, and just be a bit more clinical. But
Nina Hughes, that's obviously been a fight she's been spoken about for a while. Nina's done a number of interviews suggesting Ebanie has no interest in trying to secure a unification fight with her. Have you spoken privately with Ebanie? Is there a position where she wants to try and push for those title fights?
I don't get this. This has been going on for months. We've always said Ebanie's coming off a really bad hand injury. She had a major hand operation, so she was never going to go straight into unification. She's then, during her recovery, moved from south to north. Massive move. So then she's had to obviously get a new coach, me, right? So you're not going to go straight into unification coming off of all those things, and it takes time to settle in up north when you're based from down there. She's had a lot of upheaval in life. Why is she going to just so Nina Hughes can get a big payday and high profile fight? Why is Ebanie just going to rush straight into a fight? Why is she? She doesn't know what I'm like in the corner yet in a fight. Same as what I'm in sparring, but she don't know that. And you know what fighters are like. There's that relationship. She's been used to Mark Tibbs, right? So we're going to see on Saturday night. And she's always said, yes, she wants unifications, but that'll come next year. But yet, constantly we keep hearing nothing against her. I get what she's wanting to do. She's wanting to make the money, That's what she's wanting to do. But she can get on with her own career as well. She can, when was the last time she fought? Crack on, get another fight. There is more girls out there to fight rather than just Ebanie, So, crack on.
Moving away from Ebanie and Nina, just your thoughts on the main event on Saturday night, Haney-Prograis. Yeah, the build-up's been fantastic. What do you expect to see?
I can't wait. I've watched all the content out here. It's been just brilliant. The face-off for me is one of my favourite face-offs ever. You know, there's no pushing and shoving like it's just for verbals. And we were speaking before, they bounce off each other so good. I love Prograis how he speaks. I think it's just funny. But it's such a good fight. Ultimately, the fight is a great fight. Going off the back of Prograis' last performance, and you say, oh, Devin Haney, anyway, you know, quite comfortably. But that's a bad night. And Prograis is better than that. It punches really, really hard. Haney could get caught with that left hand. He got shook up on Lomachenko. He's been shook up a little bit off Linares, albeit Linares can pop. If Prograis lands clean on him, it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. One thing you'd say, Prograis' feet can be a little bit sloppy, a bit lazy, a bit slow. Haney's got excellent feet, great speed, great range. It's hard for me to see initially. It was hard for me to see past a Devin Haney win on points. It's very hard to see past that. But as it's come close, I've done my usual trick where you're getting excited, emotions get involved, and you know, I kind of think, oh well, if Prograis is cleverer and is smarter than what you think, and if he doesn't just load up, then I think Prograis could get him. It could get him. It all depends on that. I don't know. It all depends on how does Haney take Prograis shots.
Dave, Mr. Tony Bellew in the jungle. What are you making of his? How are you finding his life out there?
I watched it every night until we came out here, right? And I'm gutted. I said to my family, like, I'm gutted that I'm going to be missing him. And they've been sending me little snips, like they've been videoing his little bits. I think he's doing brilliant. I think he's doing. That's a Bellew, I know. He's absolutely smashing it. I thought the bit when the kid slaps him on the head, that is literally the funniest thing I've ever seen on time. And that look he gave him, it's just hilarious. It's just Bellew. I think he's doing really well. I think tonight I seen a clip where I think he's singing a song. I'm like, fucking hell, Bellew singing. What? But yeah, he's doing well. I'm really proud of him. It's really good to see.
One thing out of it which I wanted to get your thoughts on was his comments on the Usyk fight. What did you make of kind of how he spoke about that fight?
Just refresh my memory. My mind's fried. Which bit?
So he was mentioning kind of how Usyk usually takes, say, 3-4 rounds to work an opponent out, whereas with him, I can't remember if he said 6 or 8 rounds, but 6 rounds, yeah, till Usyk eventually works him out and then took it from there. Yeah,
that's about what happened, you know. Bellew, yeah, he did a great job in a young in there, but he made him work so hard, and you could see. I could see the energy draining out of him. It's the mental energy. And then you're looking at Usyk's eyes and you just look at him and he looks comfortable and you can see that confidence in his eyes while he's doing it. And then when he starts realising and starts seeing that you're mentally fatiguing, then he starts going through the gears. He doesn't go through the gears until that happens. And then when he goes through the gears, he was razor sharp and he did what he did. But yeah, I thought it was quite an honest assessment from Bellew. You know, the thing about Tony is he gets a lot of shit, and he can give a lot of shit as well. But he's very honest, you know, and he'll say it how he feels, and nobody can say it's bullshit because it's how he feels. He won't lie about it. He'll say it how it is, you know. Whether people want to say, oh, you're talking out your arse, or that's their opinion, but you know, he's very, very straight up.
Just sticking with the theme of Alexander Usyk, obviously he's had the fight with Tyson Fury announced now for February 17th. On the kind of a mental fatigue side, now we know Tyson's a brilliant boxer himself and he's somebody who likes to get involved in mind games and what have you. But from your experience of having Tony box against Alexander Usyk, how do you feel Tyson fares with that kind of the mental adjustments of constantly having to think so much in those 12 rounds if he was to go 12 rounds with Alexander Usyk?
I think Tyson's always, his best performances are always when he gets in people's heads. I don't think he's going to get into Usyk's head, not at all. And I've always said that maybe that is where it kind of rebounds on him. The fact that he can't get into Usyk's head, does that get into his head? Maybe so. The thing that he's always going to have the advantage of is the size, the sheer size of him. If they were both the same size, I'd pick Usyk all day long. I've always said that for me, the reason why you know who Tyson Fury is, yes, he's phenomenal skills, but it's because he's got so much more range on him. He's got great feet to go with that height and reach advantage that he's got, you know. But if it, you know, the fight with Ngannou, the man's got the same reach as Tyson Fury. I didn't realise that. When I was watching it on the night, and I'm seeing how long his arms are, I'm thinking, shit, and that was why Fury wasn't comfortable, because he was getting caught on the way out, because he wasn't able to just do what he normally does, pop, 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 and just do a little sway back, make him miss by 10 metres. But Ngannou had the same reach. Usyk's not got the same reach, so Usyk's got to go past that. Number one, he's got to be safe, and then number two, he's got to go from being safe to being able to land, to be safe again on the way back out. It's a big ask, especially at any moment that they get close up. Tyson's going to use his 20 stone or whatever to maul all over him. He's fantastic at that. He's fantastic at that, and that takes away the legs. You take the legs away from Usyk, then he's in trouble. So I'd still say that you know, even though I think that Usyk does have the tools to beat him, I would still say that Fury's got to be the favourite, just through the fact that he's got ability and skills, and he's a tricky customer himself, but also it's his size. That doesn't mean that I don't think that Usyk can win, because you've got to also look at Fury and say, is he after Wilder fights took a lot out of him, age, the lifestyle, as it all. There's a point in your life where everything catches up on you. You know, is it catching up on him? And if it is, Usyk's the man that can you know, take advantage of that.
Sticking with the theme of southpaws, December 23rd, Anthony Joshua faces another one in Wallin. A very difficult fight, as many have mentioned. One which, if he is to be successful, a lot of people don't feel he'll get the credit for. How difficult of a test is this for Anthony Joshua?
I think it is a test. You know, listen, Wallin, he gave Fury a good fight. He's just beaten Gassiev, is it? Which is a good result. Although I will say, Gassiev at heavyweight is different to Gassiev at cruiserweight. So I will say that without, you know, trying to take away anything from a good win. I think AJ should do a job on him. I think if Anthony Joshua's got any sort of, not ambition, because he has got ambition, he works so hard, but if he's got any sort of realistic potential to get back to being heavyweight champion of the world, he's got to go out there and do a job on Wallin, because he's not an elite heavyweight, and if AJ wants to be an elite heavyweight again, then he's got to go out there and do a job that an elite would do to a guy that's a good heavyweight.
So with that in mind then, when he fought Robert Helenius, there was still some critiques over that performance, and that went 7 rounds. So when you look at Wallin, from his first fight working with Ben as well, would you expect to see him produce something more dominant, maybe something earlier than 7, or if he was maybe to go later, what would you want to see from him?
Around same. It's not how many rounds does it go, it's a manner of which you approach it and how you are. I'm not saying he has to go out there and blast him out, but for me, he has to be assertive and be the boss and look like the boss. You can look like the boss, not just threatening and popping something out. Look like the boss, let go of your shots, let him know that you're the boss. And if he goes more rounds than Helenius, it doesn't mean it's a bad performance, because he could look better in that than he did in the build-up before the finish with Helenius. You know, it's about being dominant and being the man where you look at that fight, and if you didn't know either of them, you would say, this guy's so much better. Not, it's one of those fights, you know?
Final one from me, Dave. Next weekend, Bam Rodriguez, Sonny Edwards. Fantastic fight. Yeah, it is. Really is. We're sport for choice. What goes down in that unification bout?
Do you know what? I'm a big fan of what Bam does. I really am. I think he's a really good fighter. I think his feet are great. I love how he stepped up, and you know, when he broke out, he stepped up weight division. Was it 2 weight divisions to take his opportunity? Bit short notice. He was like, yeah, I'll do that. Fucking set of balls on him there. Didn't care. Went in, put in a great performance, built on that. Sonny Edwards is just this kid that just does not care about anybody's reputation. He fears nothing. He's stuck with it before he's, you know, it's nice now because people are giving him credit and people kind of jumping on bandwagon. But when he was like coming through, and even when he was, you know, getting into big fights originally, nobody wanted to give him any credit. He was that guy that nobody wants to give credit and say is good. Just like, oh, is this, is that? All he does is move, all he does is box, run around, blah blah. But no, there's a lot more to him than that. When he gets in that rhythm, he's very, very hard to shake. The thing about him as well, he's very, very set-minded and disciplined. And this is why, even though I think Bam's brilliant, I think Bam is better when you go to him. When somebody goes to him, then you can see his repertoire, and then he's outstanding. I don't think he's quite as good going forward. Good fighter going forward, but I don't think that's his A game. And I don't think you could pay Sonny Edwards any amount of money. He ain't going to go forward in that fight. He's going to do what he does, which is going to say, come on then, move, frustrate the shit out of you, mug you off, pop, and just frustrate the shit out of him and look to win probably on points and just fry his head completely. And I don't think he's going to, no matter what happens in the fight, no matter what success he has early doors or whatever, I don't think he's going to change from that. And for that reason, I think that Sonny Edwards wins.
One more I'm going to squeeze out of you, Dave. The beginning of next year, light heavyweight, Artur Beterbiev and Callum Smith. Oh. Everyone talks about timing in boxing, and that's been the word associated with it.
And I do think that. I think timing. I think Callum's got a great left hook. I think Callum at light heavyweight as well, he's not killing himself. Do you know how big that guy is? To think what he achieved at super middleweight is outstanding considering how big he is. And I know they said, oh yeah, at the time, yeah, he made the weight comfortably. Yeah, but he'll make the weight comfortably, but he'll perform so much better with half a stone stuck on him, you know. And I think at light heavyweight when it's fought, he looked very, very strong. Like you say, I think timing. I think Beterbiev is outstanding and he's scary. One scary dude. That beard makes him look even more scarier. But I just think that Callum he'll time him onto a shot, and he can get hurt, and he does get hurt early as well. I fancy Callum to beat him. I really do. I think it's a dangerous fight. It's a real dangerous fight. But I think that his height, his range, his freshness in the division as well, and his freshness full stop in comparison to Beterbiev, I think that will play a major part. And I think he beats him. I think he stops him.
I think I'm going to keep on saying one more, Dave, because I'm just going to stick with light heavyweight and a campmate of Callum's, Azeez, Joshua-Wallin, February 3rd.
Shit! Yeah, these are good fights. These are really good fights. Good fight. I don't know, because Buatsi, listen, I love Buatsi and I think he's got loads of ability, but time's ticking. I mean, how old is he now?
I can't think of the top of my head as well.
Yeah, he's in his 30s now, and he's still not gone into that world level. It's like, what has gone on? Why? Because he was the guy that was supposed to be that guy. I don't know what's happened there. Azeez is a throwback old school fighter, in the way he fights and his attitude. I don't know. I think Buatsi. In my head, I'm just thinking about how sharp Buatsi is and how he lets his shots go. I think Buatsi. I think it's a really good fight. I think it's gonna be. Was it the Craig Richards fight? It was a real good firefight with Buatsi. Was it Craig Richards?
That's probably been his best win.
But that was a tear-up, wasn't it? I think this is going to be a bit like that. Give and take. I think Azeez is going to catch Buatsi with some good shots, but I think Buatsi beats him. I don't know, but I'm just guessing.
Well, Dave, I won't keep on saying one more now. We'll leave on that one. I appreciate you doing this interview, especially at this time of night. Good luck on Saturday, and I'll speak to you again throughout the week.
Cheers, mate. Nice one. Thank you.